Hey guys, how's everyone doing? So let's get started with today's webinar. This is Nick from forexfornoobs.com with the daily analysis. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of June, 2018. Time is 11 here in the UK. You are looking at an Aud Jpy daily chart. So, just a quick note on how these webinars work. These webinars are streamed live to members only. So it's a small group of people that attend these webinars live. The rest of the members usually catch up on the recording. Recordings of these webinars are either posted to members only or they're posted to the public, just depending on what's discussed. If we discuss advanced stuff, it's posted to members only. If we discuss just general analysis, it's usually posted publicly. So let's get things going. In today's analysis, we're just going to be looking for setups across all these pairs that I trade. So the pairs on the right here, we're going to be looking for setups on those. Let me highlight them. And we're going to be looking at most of these timeframes here. Or all of these timeframes. I don't know why I said most. It's all of them. When I say price action setups, what I mean is reversal setups, continuation setups, range bound setup, all kinds of setups, all kinds of price action setups. So kick things off with Aud Jpy. This pair is in a messy area right now. It's stuck between 3 points of support resistance and it's just really struggling. There's no clear open space to take trades here. So I'm not really looking to take any trades on this pair at the moment. AUD New Zealand. Now this one looks a little bit more interesting. AUD New Zealand is, let me zoom out just a tad, or zoom back in a little bit. That's good. AUD New Zealand is trending up on the daily chart, but if you were to look at the weekly chart, it looks like it's still in a downtrend. So this one's a little bit tricky. What it's doing right now is it's pushing up to this resistance area. It's got that 200 moving average on top of it. But to be honest, on pairs like AUD New Zealand, like these are cross pairs, on cross pairs, and these are lesser cross pairs also. The 200 doesn't really, it's not really that important. It's not that good. So I'm not thinking too much about the 200 and its effects. I'm mostly just looking at this resistance area. Price is at resistance right now. It looks like it's breaking through it, but it's not quite through it yet. It is showing signs of it slowing down and stalling a little bit. So let's keep an eye on what happens at this resistance area. If it stalls here and it starts dropping, it's worth keeping an eye on, but there's nothing imminent right now. So let's just go on to something hopefully more interesting. AUDUSD, I saw a few of you took a short from here, short continuation trade. Yeah, it worked out well for you guys. It was a bit messy. I skipped it. I wasn't. I think we talked about it yesterday. Oh, I can't remember. Might have talked about it yesterday. Potential short here. Well, anyway. It doesn't matter if we did. No, I think yesterday was already open. Well, whatever. Like I said, it doesn't matter. To those of you who were in this trade, good work. Thumbs up. Nice. It looks like the trade's been closed out, so good work. Euro AUD. Now, Euro AUD. Oh, just to wrap things up with AUD USD. There's nothing going on right now because it hasn't really hit support yet. But do keep an eye on this support area. I'm curious to see what happens when it hits down here. If it turns around and pushes back up, that's a possibility. But also it's a possibility that this downtrend continues and it breaks below this area. Then we get a continuation. So I'm looking for both reversal or continuation here, just depending on what happens, depending on how it plays out. There's, you know, I rarely like to kind of commit to one narrative of what's going to happen. I like to be open to all possibilities in trading. When price is approaching an area of support, I don't like to say, okay, I think it's going to reverse and I'm going to look for reversals. It could do anything. You never really know. We need to read price action when it hits this area and then decide from there what's the best course of action. If price is stalling heavily on this area, that could give us a reversal. If price just carves through this area like it's nothing, then pulls back up to it, that could give us a continuation. So there's many potential, there's many scenarios that can occur. We need to be open to all of them. And in this case, I'm looking for a potential long from support. If price doesn't stall at all, if it continues down, I'm looking for a potential short from resistance. So I'm going to keep myself open to both scenarios. But right now, it hasn't hit that support area, so we just need to wait a little bit. EURGBP has pushed up above this resistance area. Nothing much is happening here, guys. It's just like messing about above the area. I'm going to look at something more interesting. Gbp Aud. Now, this one's been stalling on top of this area for a while now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish days. It's been stalling on top of this resistance area. Thing about this kind of stuff is when you get these narrow bands of support resistance, narrow bands of candles forming on top of an area of support resistance, when you drop down to, like, let's say the hourly, you'll notice that usually it's within a kind of a range, and that range is generally tradable on the hourly. I haven't been doing that with Gbp Aud, but you can see the range here. You could trade the long and shorts from that range. I haven't been trading lower time frames the last week or two, so I haven't been trading these. But there is potential for that. Whenever you notice price is stuck on top of an area of support resistance, drop down to lower time frames and you can look for your entries there. What's up today? No one's saying anything. Is the chat active? There's a bunch of you in here, but no one's saying anything. It's a lot more fun when you guys interact. Ask questions. Say something. EURGBP. EURGBP has pushed up to this resistance area. I still think there's good potential for a short trade here. It's just not a trade that I want to take because of all the mess to the left. It is just so messy to the left. If you look to the left, you just see price bouncing around through here like crazy. Now, if I were to go in short, then there's potential for that to just happen again. I don't want to be in a short trade on EURGBP for 3 weeks trying to hit target, because in that case, I'm just going to close out that trade with a minor win. So I'm gonna keep myself open to taking other trades that I feel are safer. But that being said, there is a potential short here. Price is at resistance. It's at that 200 MA. 200 MA, again, cross pair, so it's not as significant. But, when they're together, it holds some significance. It's in a range, so, trading the longs and shorts from the top and bottom of the range is always good. So, yeah. Tinash, the 5-minute scalping strategy is kind of like a members only thing. The videos coming on it are members only. So since this webinar is probably going to be posted publicly, let's keep the discussion of the 5-minute stuff. Let's not discuss the 5-minute stuff, simply because, first of all, it's members only, but second of all, this analysis is not for 5-minute trading. So not only is it members only, it's just not really the subject of what we're discussing here today. So yeah, let's I do appreciate the chat though, because no one's saying anything today. So weird. Sometimes everyone's so talkative and there's so many messages that you can't keep up, and then other times no one says anything. But yeah, if we could, no, don't worry about it. I didn't explain it. It's not your fault. I'm explaining it now. So, no, I totally get it. I asked for conversation. I'm not annoyed at you. I'm just letting you know that, that the 5 minute stuff, I just want to keep it under wraps at the moment, because I don't want it's a bit, I just don't want to have to discuss it with, on YouTube with YouTube comments, because on YouTube comments, people ask me, oh, I want to know more about the 5 minute stuff. I don't want to have to like constantly say on YouTube comments, sorry, that's blah, blah, blah. So yeah, but I do appreciate the making of conversation, because I was asking for it. What's that saying? Be careful what you ask for. You're in AUDUSD still. Yeah, I saw someone got out on the forum. They got out around here, around the low. It was a 1.9 risk reward ratio. But I could totally understand why you're still in. I take it your target was a bit lower, closer to that support area. So yeah, if you have your target down there, don't rush out now just because it's pulled back a little bit. Definitely keep your trade open and go for your target. Yeah. EURGBP, I think we looked at this one. If we didn't, it's in between support resistance, so nothing much going on there. EURUSD, I'm still looking for a pullback to this resistance area. I want to short from this resistance area. Can't really do anything until it hits that resistance area, so I'm looking for a pullback. So yeah, we're just going to wait and watch with that one. A lot of waiting and watching at the moment. Gbp JPY, I mean, nothing really. Gbp USD, it's pulling away from this resistance area, but again, yeah, I'm not. There's no clear trade setup here. New Zealand USD finally breaking below. It's breaking below this support area. That's good. We were just talking about EURGBP, Sharon. I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. No problem. All right, New Zealand USD. This looks good. I'm actually excited about this. First of all, let's zoom out and look at this trend, right? Actually, let's look at it on the weekly, because you'll get a better idea on the weekly of how strong this trend is. This is a strong trend, right? Very strong trend. Price has attempted to get below here several times now, right? It's done first time here. Like after getting above it, it got above it. When was this? Yeah, 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago, price pushed above here for the first time in a little while. For the first time in a year after it dropped down. So price pushed above here, sunk back down, pushed above again, and then after that, it has not managed to get below the support area. I mean, obviously there it did a little bit, but I mean, it's not managed to get back below it and hold below it. Price has been stuck on the support area every time it gets down here. Price has gone boom, reverse, boom, reverse, boom, reverse. And here again, it looked like it was going to. But now it's sinking back down. All right, so it's not 100% that this is going to break through. I mean, last time we saw something similar where this big weekly candle broke below, it held here, then the next week it turned around and headed back up. So totally possible for that to happen again. Don't get your hopes up right now. But the point is, it has broken below this level. It has made a new low over last week's low. So there is potential here for price to start tumbling down below the support area. So what I'm looking for right now, ideal situation would be a move lower breaking this low that was set last time. So that would be a new low. That I wouldn't enter just on that new low. That's a risky move, because if you want proof of why that's risky, all you need to do is look at this low. This was a new low, but then it turned around anyway. So I'm not going to enter on the new low. I want to see a very specific continuation here. I want to see price pushing down, you know, a decent way. I want to see it come back. I want to see it stall on this resistance area. Not like above it up here, not below it down here. I want to see it stall on this resistance area. Wait, I should clarify, I don't want to have any misunderstandings with this. It doesn't have to be exactly in this blue zone, right? If price pushes down, damn it. If price pushes down to here, then comes back up, and you get price, you get a candle like this. Let's imagine a candle like this, right? My mouse sensitivity is so high that it's really hard to draw these candles. We get a few wicks poking up here. You get a few of these candles. That's fine. When I say not above, not below, I mean, I don't want to see something like this. All right, let's do this over 2 candles, more realistic. I don't want to see something like this. And then price stalling somewhere up here. Right? That's not what I want to see. I want to see price stalling around this resistance area. To the low side, the better. Like, so if it's come up to here and price starts stalling down here with wicks poking up into that resistance area, that's better. That's way better. Because then there's a little chance that this area has become support again. So I'm looking for a continuation here. Pretty excited about this. This could be a nice move down for New Zealand USD. And last time it broke through here, 2015, 3 years ago, it moved down quite a bit. Didn't really get continuation set up there, but you know, that's how stuff works sometimes. I'm not a big fan of trading breakouts. They're very unreliable. So I avoid breakouts. But if I get a good continuation, or maybe there was a continuation at this time, because it's not necessary. Just because I've got the support area down here right now, it doesn't mean that's where it was 3 years ago. Maybe support resistance was up higher 3 years ago. Anyway, there's no point in trying to figure out what we would have done 3 years ago. My point is, I'm just bringing this back to where it was. My point is, this is where it's at now. So we're going to trade it as a potential continuation. Yeah, let's keep a close eye on this one, guys. Yeah, price would need to go to levels where it hasn't been in 2 years if you traded a continuation, sure. But the point is that price is breaking lows that it hasn't seen in 2 years. So once it gets beyond those lows, that's when it can start falling, going down into free fall. If that low is held for 2 years and that low doesn't break, then I'd be concerned. But after that low is broken, then I can start looking for shorts. What if it stalls here? If it stalls here, then it's a different story. In the event of a stall, I would just be looking for a bullish reversal. But right now, it doesn't really look like it's stalling. So let's let's just see what happens with it. I mean, either way, this is going to take a few days to unfold. If it starts pushing down and it gives us some new lows, it breaks those previous lows, you know, that's going to be something that happens over a few days. It's not going to be something that happens today, because it needs to move down. Usually when it does that, you'll get like one or two candles that just move a little bit sideways. Then you get that move back up. Sometimes it happens faster, but you're looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So it's going to take a while. If it stalls here, if this candle just all of a sudden pulls back up and then price stalls here, then we'd be looking for just a long reversal. I'm not as excited about that, just because continuations have a lot more potential for keeping that trade open and letting it run down, whereas reversals are usually shorter trades. And when price is getting into these kind of significant 2-year lows and it breaks those lows, then you start to see moves like this one where it just goes down and down and down and down, and you could keep that trade open for a few weeks and make a lot of profit there. So, you know, that's what I like to see. So yeah, hopefully that's what happens. Let's see how it goes. Keeping a close eye on New Zealand USD. We'll obviously follow up on that one. USD CAD still stalling up at this resistance area. I mean, it's just stuck on resistance, really. This whole area is just a mess of resistance, and it's just stuck on resistance. It's not doing much at all. It's been unable to break this this 1-year high, really. I mean, technically it broke it. It spiked above it. But when I say it's unable to break it, what I mean is it's unable to break and close above it. Yeah, it looks like a pin bar, but pin bar doesn't necessarily mean reversal. Pin bar, or indecision candle, as I like to call them, just means that price is undecided. Doesn't mean I'm going to jump in short right now. Price is undecided. That's what it means. Price right now on this resistance area is undecided. There's a struggle between buyers and sellers. Neither is strong enough to turn price around, or neither is strong enough to take control of price. The bears can't take control. The bulls can't take control. So it's moving sideways on this area of support resistance. USDCHF, I mean, we went over this in yesterday's analysis. There's nothing much going on here. Just watch out for a potential range, as you should with USDJPY, but nothing much going on there either. I'm just going to unmark these right now, to be honest, and I'm going to, actually, I'm just going to draw a separate one instead of copying and pasting. Just do it like that for now. I'm just gonna unmark these pairs that. All right, actually, I had to go back to EURGBP for you, Sharon. Yeah, so EURGBP, we talked about this in yesterday's analysis. We talked about this earlier today. So I'll try and keep it short because I don't want people to be like, well, just stop repeating yourself. You keep going on about the same thing over and over. So we've already looked at EURGBP. I'll keep it short. It's a strong potential short trade at the moment, or a strong already triggered short trade, depending on whether you've entered or not. I probably wouldn't have entered right now unless I was trading lower time frames. I guess there was potential for entry here. Anyway, point is, it's a setup. It's a strong setup in terms of resistance. This resistance area is strong, right? Strong resistance area. It's also helped by the 200 MA. That 200 MA is combined with that resistance area, which is usually really good, a really good sign. Also, not only that, price is in a range. So when price is in a range, it's hard for it to get above the top of that range. It's already showing signs of it stalling. I think there's good potential for a short here. If you're short, that's okay. My only personal problem with this trade is that I don't want to be stuck in a trade for ages. And with this one, it looks like there's a good potential that I could be stuck in a trade for ages, because look at how long it usually takes for it to get through this area. It's just such a messy pair at the moment. It's such a messy pair. This has to do a lot with Brexit news, with news out of the European Union. Things are just all over the place with this pair right now. It's just going up, down, all over the place. Moves through this area are just very, very slow. There are a few notable exceptions. Obviously, this candle here just cut straight through it. But overall, it's taken days for price to travel from here to here and from there to there. And sometimes it's taken weeks, like we saw here. So I'm just apprehensive about getting into this trade, because I'd rather look for other trades than get into this one. So that's just my personal opinion of this. You know, there's a lot of times where I identify setups and I say to myself, well, I think there's a strong likelihood that this is going to happen. But for me, this trade is too risky. For me, this trade is not worth it. I have the luxury of doing that. Not everyone does. Newer traders especially, they need to take trades to grow their account. They need to take trades to gain experience. So I'm not saying that everyone should stay out of this trade. You know, you might want to take this trade. It's a bit risky, but risky isn't bad as long as you know how to manage it. If you manage it properly, it's great. And also, taking trades just for the experience, just to gain experience, is also a good thing. As long as you're not, you know, putting your life savings into trades or into trading in general, then okay, you lose this trade. It's not going to hurt. You're going to learn a lesson. And when you journal that trade down and it becomes part of the data you're keeping, then you could use that data to make better decisions later on. When you are trading bigger money, when it does actually affect things, when it's more important. So don't just stay out of this trade because I'm staying out of it. I think personally, for me, it's just a bit too risky. I don't want to keep this position open for 3 weeks for it to hit target. 3 weeks is a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. I just don't want to be in a trade like this. My first thing when I enter a trade, or when I think about entering a trade, is I look to the left for a guide as to what price is potentially going to do through this area. And looking to the left, to me, for me, in this case, just makes me think this is messy. I can't be bothered. I'd rather look for another trade. I'd rather look for a better trade. I have no reason that I have to rush into a trade. So it's just not for me. Hopefully that answers the question. Well, that wasn't really a question, but hopefully that clears things up with this. You closed out Usdchf yesterday. Fair enough. Are there any other questions, guys? Well, it doesn't look like there's any other questions. Tomorrow we will not be having a webinar. I unexpectedly have to travel out of town tomorrow. My girlfriend or partner, girlfriend sounds so childish. It sounds like I'm in high school, but I don't really know what to call it because it's not my wife, not my fiance. So what's the right word? I guess partner. But anyway, my point is that my partner's family is coming down because she's from Belgium, and tomorrow Belgium and England are playing, and a lot of them are coming over to England to watch the football because they have a lot of family in England too. So they're all gonna watch the football in England, and we've been invited down. So unexpectedly, we are going down to London to watch the football. I am not really a big football fan. I'm not a football guy. I know it's weird for an Italian guy. Well, I'm Australian, I guess, but my family is all Italian to not be into football, but I'm just not. It's just not my thing. As for what team I support, I'm pretty neutral on the subject. If we're watching it in a pub, I am going to be supporting England because I don't want to get beat up by a bunch of angry football fans. If we're watching it at home, I'm just going to be pretty neutral on the subject. I'm not really sure what the plan is, but I guess I'd have to go with England, really. I love Belgium. It's a great country, but I wasn't born there. I was born in Australia, and Australia is definitely, it's a British colony, so I guess I have to go for England. I've not tried sports betting. I'm not a gambler. I have literally no interest in it. I have very little interest in sports in general outside of MMA, boxing, and combat sports. I'm not that into rugby or to football. Just not my thing. And no, I haven't tried betting on combat sports. Sure you can, but yeah, I just like watching them for the fun of it. And because I like martial arts. And I enjoy doing it. I do watch some tennis occasionally, actually. Tennis is fun. But yeah, I guess that's the only sport outside of combat sports that I have any interest in. Not a sporty person. I like doing sports myself, I just don't like watching them. But anyway, yeah, not tried sports betting. Any other questions, guys? Speaking of sports, I gotta go out for a run. I guess running is not really a sport, but running is physical exercise, but it is also mental exercise. I think a lot about my trading while I'm running, and it's helped me sort out a lot of ideas and improve my trading. I find running very meditative, and it allows me to sort out my ideas. So does hiking. Because I find it useful when I'm running for my mind to kind of wander. It helps me keep going. And when my mind wanders, I usually fixate on fixing issues that I have, which usually my life is pretty easy and chill. Most of the issues I have generally revolve around trading. Things I could improve, things I could get better at. So running does help significantly with my trading. I don't know if it's the same for everyone. Maybe that's just me, but I do recommend trying it. I've only been running a short time. I was running on and off last year, but I've really got into it this year. I am not at a marathon level yet. I mean, I could technically do a marathon, but I would have an atrocious time. I'm not really into marathons in general. I'm into trail running and fell running, so running uphill, downhill, on trails, like surrounded by trees and everything. That's what I like doing. So I'm not really a marathon runner. I don't think I ever will be. I will run marathon distances, no doubt. I'm already running half marathon distances, but just not your traditional run around the road. It'll be up and downhill marathons on rough trails. Yeah, walking's good too. I love hiking. Hiking is a big thing for me. Hiking allows you to really think about your trading too. Well, for me anyway. You don't understand how someone can enjoy it? It's hard to explain. You're pushing yourself. You have the physical ability to do something that a lot of people can't, at a speed that a lot of people can't. And it's tough. You feel after it, you feel like you've accomplished something. You feel like, I can't believe I was able to complete this. As a competition aspect, because I've got a lot of friends on Strava who run, and I like trying to beat them and trying to get better than them, because a lot of them have been running for years and I'm already catching up. So that always just feels good. A lot of people from here, actually, a lot of students here have got me on Strava now. And I'm catching up to a lot of them, which makes me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good. It's just a competition thing. People are driven by competition. Catching up to people who are better than you is like, it just makes you feel good. There's just a lot, I don't know, people enjoy different things. If you don't enjoy it and it's not for you, then you don't have to do it. But this conversation has swayed far away from trading. And, well, I guess it is the end of the webinar anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. I do really enjoy running though, Ash, so. My partner, she hates it. She really, really hates it. She can't run. She loves swimming though. I kind of find swimming boring and pointless. Just going back and forth in a pool is just mind-numbingly boring. So everyone has their own thing. In open sea swimming, oh, that's just scary. Sharks, jellyfish, or just drowning, ugh, no. Swimming, just horrible. I really don't like going out into open water. Because like you can't see below. You don't know what's below you. Could be anything. I'd rather run on land where I can see stuff coming. And in the UK, you don't have to worry about animals at all. You don't have to worry about mountain lion jumping out like you do in America or in Australia. You don't have to worry about, well, you never really worry about snakes in Australia, to be honest, but yeah, swimming is just not my thing. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I'm going to go out for my run. Think about trading when I do, probably. Actually, no, I'm doing intervals today, so I'm going to think about how horrible this is and how I want to die. Because intervals are the worst part of running, but they do make you better, so gotta do them. So yeah, let's wrap this thing up, guys. Thank you for attending. There won't be a webinar tomorrow. There won't be a webinar for the rest of this week. I'll probably do some forum analysis tomorrow when I get time. But yeah, no actual webinar. So as for webinars, next one will be on Tuesday next week. So thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you later.